Hi, I'm Kathy Perret with the City of Santa Barbara's Water Conservation Program. Today we're going to talk about trees, that most beautiful plant that is so valuable for our plants, our animals, our shade. It's a wonderful resource. We're going to talk today about how to efficiently water them, all the way from do-it-yourself projects to what a professional might do to assist you. Let's take a peek at all the parts that are necessary. There's a few parts that are necessary to put together an inline drip system. I'm going to come down, let's show you the most important. We'll start from where the water supply comes in. The water supply is going to come in, your hose is going to hook in, you're going to require a pressure regulator. It can look like this. It'll usually reduce it to 20, 25, or 30 psi. You're going to put a filter system on. This is going to remove any sediment that might be coming from the hose. There's a connector. It's just a thread that allows you to hook up drip tubing to it. It's inline drip. If you look down on the actual tubing itself, you can see some minor little holes and some thickness here. So every 12 inches on this tubing, I have a 1 gallon per hour emitter. I also have this tool out here. This is a soil probe. And the soil probe is going to allow me to actually take a soil sample. These little holes are every 2 inches. So I can take a soil sample maybe 12 inches deep and find out at the deepest point, is the soil still moist down there? So we're going to talk about what's the proper type of tubings, where to place it, and then a little bit about how long to water for your individual trees. It really depends on the type of tree. Sometimes you may actually need to ask a professional, ask an arborist to come by and give you a little bit more information about that tree. It's really important for us to try and provide the water and the nutrients that they need to continue to add value and beauty and shade and habitat in our environments and in our landscapes. We've got all our parts. Let's go mark the tree canopy and put this together. Well, we're over here at the water supply. The first thing I'm thinking about is doing the last little finishing connections to the tubing. I'm going to put a T onto my drip tube so that I can make a circle around the tree. So we're going to cut a hole, cut the pipe. Just using pruning shears works pretty well. Connect it up. Takes a little jiggling to kind of work these together and get them locked in. I'm going to connect a T to this so that as I go around the tree off of one side, the tubing can come all the way back into here. So it'll get water going in, it'll fill the tubing, it'll water all the way around. So we've got ourselves connected here. The next step is to figure out exactly where the drip line is. I like to mark it with flags so that when I'm laying my tubing out, I know that I'm in that prime zone where the plant's going to absorb the water. So with this particular tree, it's easy to see that as the rain is going to fall, it's going to hit these outside branches and it's going to fall directly down. So I would come out and come here and I put my little flag. You don't have to put the line exactly where your flags are because those absorptive roots where the moisture and the nutrients are most beneficial for the plant are within a couple of feet inside the drip line and a couple of feet outside the drip line. So the next step we're going to do is we're going to lay that pipe out, put some little tacks to hold it in place, and then hook it up to the water. So now we're going to use these, they're called stakes, soil stakes. They're going to help hold the pipe down so it doesn't snake away on you. So the easy thing is to do now is we're going to add a T so we can connect up to our water supply. So we detach the extra piece of pipe. We have our T that's hooked up to what we're going to hook to the hose or to our valve. Take one side of this, give it a wiggle and a little bit of push. It's connected. We connect the other side. So we're going to hook this up to a hose. This is going to be our water supply today. We're already set up with our pressure regulator and our filter, which are really necessary to make sure that the drip or the inline or the soaker tubing doesn't put too much water out over time. You can use your meter, and if you check our website, the santabarbaraca.gov/waterwise, there is a video as well as some flyers on how to read your meter just for this application. All right, we're hooked up. let's turn it on. Today we're using a hose spigot for our water supply. You can hook this up to a valve in your irrigation system so that you can time it automatically if you want. Doesn't matter. So let's give this just a little bit of water. You don't want to crank it on. You just want to turn it on maybe 1/8 to 1/4 of a turn. Take a look at your drip zone, and what you should see is little drips coming out of each of those little emitter tubes, the ones that were every 12 to 18 inches apart. Well, we finished with our drip line connection, so now I'm going to show you a super easy way, do-it-yourself, that you can use the water that you collect in your shower or in your dish pan to use that to water your tree deep and slowly. In order to make a slow trickle bucket, you need a bucket. And what we're going to do is we're going to drill 4 little holes so that when we put the water in the bucket and set it down in the mulch around it, the water's slowly going to saturate as it's absorbed into the soil. So we've got our holes. Our bucket's prepared. That's all there is to it in this part. We're going to make a little space down here so we can get to the soil, put the mulch around the bucket. We'll place our bucket in contact with the earth underneath, put some mulch around it. We're keeping any evaporation from happening here and allowing it to really slowly soak in. Then we have our bucket from my shower water, and we just add it. Perfect do-it-yourself deep soaker for your tree. For those of you who maybe have seen one of these devices used by an arborist or by city staff out with the trees, this is a deep watering soil probe. It's not something that most people regularly do, but if you have some trees that are distressed, if you see the city workers using this soil probe out on our street trees or in the parks, we're doing that for the health of the trees. Trees are such a wonderful asset to our environment. They give our kids some shade. They give the wildlife somewhere to live. If you want to learn how to take care of them and water them even more efficiently, please visit our website,